Right, now, FaceApp. Everyone's using it. Everyone is posting pictures. I almost feel like taking a holiday from social media for 4 weeks until the whole novelty dies down, but it's good fun, I suppose. Everyone's taking their pictures or using their pictures, granting access to this app to age themselves. In fact, the technology and the results are fantastic. But what does it mean for your security? We'll tell you after this break. Okay, you're very welcome back to the programme, and we're joined on it now by Professor Kevin Curran, Professor of Cybersecurity at Ulster University. Professor, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Greg.
Right, now, a lot of people are using this app, and we allow apps to access our Facebook pages and other social media all the time. Some people are slightly more concerned that this gives the app access to all your photos effectively on Facebook, and also, access to your likeness, and they can do what they wish with that. Should people be concerned?
Yeah, I mean, this app really allows you to upload your images, and it allows you to age yourself, to look into the future and see what you look like in 10 years, 20 years' time, really. And it's quite clever. It does a good job of what it's claimed to do, really, as an agent. You can also change other features like the smile and whatever else, but there's been concerns where one particular person uploaded an images and he traced his contacts, and he says that it actually, once you grant this app permission to do the face aging, that it actually uploads all your...
Sorry, Professor, the phone line is actually terrible. Do you mind if we disconnect and reconnect again, see if we can improve it?
That's fine.
Super stuff. Thank you very much. We'll be back with Professor Kevin very, very shortly. As I say, it's very difficult to hear what he has to say. Just to let you know, by the way, Paul McLaughlin, our gardener's in studio this morning, so if you have any questions about your garden, what is it now, mid-August? Oh, sorry, it's not mid-August, thankfully, it's mid-July. The challenges and questions change as the seasons progress. So any questions for our gardener, get them into us now. You know the numbers, 086 60 25,000, 086 60 25,000. Right, Professor Kevin, sorry about that. You were saying that it uploads the picture.
It uploads the picture, yeah. But again, some people believe that actually, the one researcher actually said that he questioned why it uploaded all your photographs to the actual app. And of course, the fact that it actually is a Russian-owned app by Wireless Lab, that there was concerns about whether or not it was grabbing all your photographs and what it was doing with those photographs.
Do you share those concerns?
I don't, actually, because even if you go to Twitter and you look at the terms and conditions in Twitter, actually, by submitting, posting, or displaying content on Twitter, you grant Twitter a worldwide, non-exclusive, royalty-free license to use, copy, reproduce any of your photographs at all. So the fact that you use any app really that like this to upload your photographs, to do any manipulation, that actually the service could take your photograph and place it on a mug or place it on an app somewhere, and that's just the world we live in, really. So yes, if you really were a private person and you did not want your photograph appearing on anything in the world, then yes, don't use apps like this, don't go on social media. But the fact is, you're just a drop in the ocean, really. So I'm not particularly concerned about this, because whatever we use, we're always trying to train these things, trying to train face recognition all the time. Most services use, and people might not even be actually noticed. If you ever go to some things where you have to log in and it says click on the traffic signs, click on what is a shop front. Again, these are things that Google do all the time to verify that a human is at the other end of the line. But actually what you're doing is helping Google's recognition systems for Street App and for Google Maps, whatever else. You're actually training their systems all the time. It's a clever way that Google used to be able to figure out how to recognize what a shop is, what a street sign is, and it's helping Google Maps all the time. So
the thing with the FaceApp, though, and as I say, this is just a proposition. I mean, obviously, it's a Russian-based company, and you are also permitting them to share your information with affiliates, and the affiliates we don't know. We also know we're moving towards a situation. We might be all drops in the ocean, but facial recognition software is there, and it's used by those within the law community very successfully as well. But also, we are moving to a point where we're already opening our phones with our faces. We're already doing that kind of stuff as well. I mean, it's not a massive leap to see that for an intelligence agency, for example, or those that might be involved in hacking, that knowing exactly how we look at framed face-on perfect picture, as well as our location and our name and other information, could prove very valuable for untoward activity.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, most of the governments of the world have our pictures from our national IDs, from our driving licenses. They can do that. They can use that, whatever else. And the United States, for instance, has people's information for all these activities again. So, of course, in the future, that's why there's things called puppet kits that you can buy now, which allow you to disguise yourself, because in the future, you will not be able to walk out in public and remain anonymous again. So there's these identity kits you can buy if you really are concerned about that, to make yourself anonymous to cameras, because governments of the world already have everyone's picture, everyone's face on record, and they're able to use that, of course, using with these classification systems as well, AI, to be able to identify you. So again, you cannot in the future remain anonymous unless you literally put on a disguise when you walk outside in public.
Okay. Now, and it's only a matter of time before that is illegal. I mean, there's already inroads being made in that direction, in France. Now, of course, it's for religious headwear, etc., but motorcycle helmets and other type of stuff, perhaps it's only a matter of time before obscuring your face in public will be illegal. I mean, I'm starting to sound like a tin hat merchant here. I'm not intending to, but it seems to be, if you look at it, where we could be going, Professor.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I suppose it's like A&O, or automatic number recognition on car number plates. Really, that the fact is, it becomes harder to be a criminal in the future, because there's so many things that computers can do to recognize who you are, to see where you're going. Again, so sometimes you got to just worry about it if you are someone doing evil, because, for instance.
But I know people that don't do evil, Professor, and they just don't want to be tracked that much. That they go out of the way to switch everything off, that they want to live their lives without being tracked and followed and watched.
Absolutely. But again, if you think about this, for instance, you got a question. The number one doorbell in the world when it comes to technology is the Ring doorbell, for instance. So if you got a Ring doorbell at home, it allows you, if someone rings your doorbell and no one's at home, you can connect, but it'll notify you, for instance. If you're away somewhere, you can speak to the delivery person, and say, look, leave the package in the shed, leave the package with my neighbours, whatever else. So there is an example of technology which is very useful. But for instance, some states in the USA, for instance, allow people to use a community service again, so that police forces are actually linking up with Ring doorbell and the community notice again. So, for instance, if crimes are committed in the community, local police forces in the USA are able to log into people's Ring doorbells, for instance, and see the footage from their front porch and be able to track down criminals or people who commit offences again. So you might, and no one listening this morning would say that we don't want criminals to be tracked again. So there's an example of whether if people share their footage from their Ring doorbells, it's more likely that criminals will be tracked down again. But of course, then people come along and say, well, we don't want the police forces to be able to access our footage again. So it's like technology itself is always, again, it's the fact is, technology can be used for good or bad. It can be used for tracking people down. It can be used for narrowing or personalized, but it can also be used for good. So again, there's always this thing. Do you want, for instance, in this case, the police forces, your local community, to access your local, your actual footage from your camera on your front door to track down criminals?
It's funny the way technology is when you think about it. Like Samsung, for instance, because of the way I open my phone, they have, on record, not only my fingerprints, but also but also my face and retina information, which is quite bizarre when you think about it. So finally, with FaceApp, I mean, if something is free, where the product? We've said this before, Professor, but in reality, when the terms and conditions say our affiliates, and their affiliates could be anyone, what is it likely that our information is being used for? Not purely just marketing, surely, because that information's out there already.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, so this company behind FaceApp is Wireless Labs, based in Russia. Again, so people obviously worry about because it's a Russian-based, company, really. But to be honest, like most of these apps, they're just in the business for making money. They want people to not only use the free app but also subscribe to it, make money. Again, the question is, do you believe that what can they do with your image? So how many people have subscribed to the service? How many people will they use? Do you believe that they were actually looking through your photographs and, using that for any nefarious reasons, really? But to be honest, you're just another image on their database again. And a lot of these companies are just there to make money.
Professor, thank you so very much indeed, as always. Professor Kevin Curran, Professor of Cybersecurity at Ulster University there.